In this video, I want to show you an outstanding tool that I developed for ProAPOD called the Price Analyzer. I know that once you see it and learn how to use it, you will want to use it with every buyer and seller and every presentation that you make. In order to use the Price Analyzer and get the most benefit out of it though, you'll want to complete all the income and expense data. You'll want to complete the property information, the income information, operating expenses, loan information, and then you'll go over to the rent scenarios. And you'll want to project 3 rent scenarios. And in this case, as you can tell, I projected 3 scenarios for the 2-bedroom, 1-bath units and some scenarios for the 3-bedroom, 1-bath units. Just in case you're not familiar with the Rent Scenarios report, this essentially says that based on the current rents, here's the gross scheduled income, here's the cash flow, and here's all the returns and ratios down below. As I increase the rents under Rent Scenario 1, you can tell that the cash flow changes, as do the ratios and returns. And as I go to Rent Scenario 2, same thing. Everything increases according to that income, and also in Rent Scenario 3. Once the scenarios form is complete, you would go to Tools and open the Price Analyzer. It is not as complicated as it looks. Under Current Data, the returns that you're looking at here are simply the computations that the program has made based on the data that you've already entered. Under the Adjusted Data, this is going to be the returns based upon the changes that we make. In other words, since we're going to be analyzing certain components of the existing data, the Adjusted Data is going to show us what the results will be. Everything we need to do will be done over here on the right side. Now, rather than try to explain it piece by piece, why don't we take it with certain examples? Okay, let's say your buyer wants to pay $430,000 and wants to know what the cap rate would become based on that price. I'll draw your attention again. This is the existing price of $450,000. This is the existing cap rate based on that price and income of 5.97%. So we want to see what the price would become. Everything we do will be on the right side over here. Now, rather than try to explain it piece by piece, why don't we go through some scenarios? Let's say your buyer wants to offer $430,000. The current price is $450,000. The returns based on that price are right here. Now, he wants to offer $430,000, and you want to show the buyer what happens to the cap rate if in fact the price is lowered. So you'll type in 430 and click Calculate. Now you know, based on a price of $430,000, that the cap rate becomes 6.25. The gross rent multiplier changes, as does the cash-on-cash return. Okay, let's take another scenario. Let's say you're working with a seller. You've worked up all the numbers, and you're looking at Rent Scenario 1, and you really believe that those rents could be achieved very quickly. But in this case, you're seeing a 6.15% cap rate, and you believe, based on those rents, that that property should probably sell at about a 5.8 cap rate. So what you're trying to do here is establish an asking price. Well, first you want to select cap rate, because that's what we're going to adjust. Since we are going to want to adjust this one in scenario 1, you'd make that selection, scenario 1. You can see it's highlighted. We believe that the price should be based on a 5.8% cap rate, so we type in 5.8%, hit calculate, and there it is. In other words, you could now tell the seller that based on a 5.8% cap rate for rent scenario 1, which you believe are realistic rents, you should be asking $477,000 for the property. Now you could do that for gross rent multiplier also. And again, you can do it in any scenario. And you'll notice that as you click the scenarios, it's going to highlight the item that you are targeting or seeking to change. Then, after you've made your selection, you say, okay, let's take this for an example. You're saying that based on rent scenario 3, at an 8.74 gross rent multiplier, you'd like to see what the price should be at, well, let's say an 8 gross rent multiplier. So you would type in, well, first of all, you select GRM here, scenario 3, adjust to 8, you hit calculate, and it will show you highlighted down here, meaning that you have now changed this income to an 8 gross rent multiplier, which gives you this price of $411,800. Anyway, I would encourage you to open this price analyzer up and play around with it. I think you're going to find it an extremely helpful tool when you're taking listings or when you're working with buyers. Good luck, and I'll talk to you next time.